Today, I'm sharing a theory I 1000% believe in, and I promise you, it's an interesting rabbit hole. But before I get into what theory that is, I want to know what conspiracy you believe in. Share yours down below in the comments because I'm interested in knowing the theories y'all believe in, and we can take a deeper dive into them in future videos. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I am not claiming any of what I talk about in this video as facts, all speculation. Now, let's talk about my theory, which is the world beyond the ice wall. First, let's talk about what the ice wall is. The ice wall theory is basically Antarctica, and the theory goes that it circles around the Earth and acts like a giant ice wall that separates us from other land masses and other beings. Most people who believe in the ice wall also believe in the Earth being flat. I'll go ahead and clear this part up. I don't think the Earth is flat. The theory also goes that NASA fabricates the satellite images it takes of the Earth, and that's why we don't see an ice wall surrounding us. The best way to actually know for sure is to see it with your own eyes. Now, there is a very suspicious part about Antarctica, which is that in 1959, in the middle of the Cold War, keep in mind, 12 nations signed a treaty that was made so no one can personally claim any land on the continent. It also aimed to prevent any nations from developing any weapons there and allowing the freedom to research anything needed in that continent. As I stated before, this treaty was signed in the middle of the Cold War, and among the signing nations, the US and USSR both signed this treaty. If you know anything about global politics and how likely countries are to cooperate so easily, then you'd know that this seems fishy. Because of how easy it was for nations to sign this treaty, part of the ice wall theory is that these scientists that were in Antarctica actually found something that could pose a threat to us as a human race. It could also be that they found things that they didn't want leaked to the public. Some of these things include different land masses beyond the Antarctic, newly discovered oceans, and a new species of humanoid beings with their own societies. Before I talk about the impact on society, let's talk about the impact on you if you become a channel member. You can get early access to videos up to a week early, members-only polls, end-screen shoutouts, photo and status updates, and priority reply in the comments. You can get access to all of this if you hit the join button next to my channel. Now, back to the video. Now that we've covered the general idea of what this theory is about, let's get into the reasons I believe it could be true. And don't forget to comment what theory you believe in to be highlighted in a future video. The possibilities of what lies beyond the ice walls are endless. Here, I'll mention what I believe could be on the other side. The first is different civilizations. These civilizations would include Asgard, Agartha, and Atlantis. Asgard, if you don't know, is where the Norse gods are believed to live in Norse mythology. It's comparable to Mount Olympus from Greek mythology. Some believe that it's a landmass that could be outside of our ice wall, and there's even the walls of Asgard right near it, as shown here. Agartha, on the other hand, is typically believed to be inside the Earth, which would basically be the hollow Earth theory. However, with this theory in place, it's possible it's just beyond our ice walls. Agartha is said to be a legendary kingdom, and it's got a lot of myths to it. It seems sort of medieval in the way it's described online. Lastly, it's believed that Atlantis didn't actually sink, and that the ancient, legendary civilization is actually somewhere beyond our ice walls that cage us in. All these land masses would contain their own people and different cultures as well. Different forms of life never before seen, maybe even some only heard of in myths and legends. Land masses aren't the only thing possibly outside our ice walls. The oceans beyond the walls could contain life from ancient myths, like I mentioned a second ago. Some creatures such as Cthulhu, giant krakens, megalodon, sirens, and the Hydra are all possible. And if any of these places or creatures are there, or even others, the outcome would send shockwaves across the entire world. For one, the trust in any authority on space or the maps of the Earth would be lost. The general public would be livid to find out that we've been caged off from the rest of our possible world. Besides anger and distrust, it's possible some people are actually relieved we didn't know, and are scared to venture and check out new places. Kind of like in Adventure Time, Finn offers humans the opportunity to live in Ooo with him, but they decline at the time because it seems too scary for them. The other possibility is that when we try to communicate with these other societies, they honestly may want nothing to do with us. They could easily be immediately hostile for their own safety, kind of like the Sentinelese tribe. That tribe has been separated from modern society and live in their own ways and have their own culture. Far different than anything we have anywhere else on Earth. So finding these different societies would be equivalent to discovering aliens, honestly. They could, for one, look similar to us, yet different at the same time. Their bodies would be adapted to their specific environment, so it could have some very distinct features. Similar to how the Huaorani Indians tribe have feet specifically adapted to climbing trees and being nimble. For two, their diets and culture would look very different to ours, from the vegetation they eat to the types of animals they eat as well, if they do eat animals, that is. We would be able to diversify each other's cultures by learning from one another to improve ourselves as a whole. Now, there will be people who would fear such a possibility because they might think they would want to take over and control us like we think aliens would. But honestly, the only reason we think that way could easily be because that is exactly what we saw other humans do in our own history. At the end of the day, this theory is just a theory. I can't tell you it's 100% real because honestly, I don't know. The only way it's possible to know is to actually see it. Just like with anything else in life, I can't say it's real based on belief alone. Be sure to let me know what conspiracy you believe in down below in the comments. Thank you and have a good one.